Okay, so we're here with Pam. This is an update. I think the last time we spoke with you was back in July or August. And since then, we've finished up one protocol. We're getting ready to go into your next phase of care. So we're just here to update what's been going on since I talked to you a few months ago. So go ahead and fill us in, Pam.
Okay. Well, I was able to go back to work after a year. I had to quit work because I didn't have the energy, the stamina to do my job. Plus, I couldn't remember the things that I needed to remember for my job. I couldn't remember names of patterns or prices, and I would look prices up, the same price constantly, 5 and 6 times a day because I couldn't remember it from one customer to the next. And I was able to go back to work and do it successfully and have fun doing it and be able to remember everything I needed to remember.
And you did that at Christmas time.
I did.
Which had to be extra crazy.
Retail at Christmas was extra crazy.
Brutal.
It was. Yeah. So that was fun, and it showed me how, I mean, I knew how much I had progressed, but it had never really been put to the test, so to speak. And so when I went back and I could compare how I felt last year when I was doing my job as opposed to this year when I was doing my job, it was just entirely different. It was like I was a 20-year-old walking in to go to work again.
Excellent.
That was great.
I think you also mentioned, too, that before you had a lot more sensitivities to things like substances inside. How did that go?
I have. Dust is a big problem for me. I also have outdoor allergies, pollens and things like that. And I really haven't had any problem. I don't obviously go into some place that's really dusty and move it all around, but I've noticed less sensitivity to the things that I have been allergic to in the past. And I don't use my inhaler. I don't have to use my inhaler now. It's just I can get outside. I had not been going outside for years because of my allergies and the fact that I would end up with bronchitis and pneumonia. And now I can actually go outside and enjoy the outdoors, and that's great.
You were actually doing some walking here before it got too cold, too.
Oh, I was walking up hills and down hills and all around, and able to get out in parks and do the walking trails. And we were walking 2 miles at one point.
Wow, you and your husband.
Yes, and we'll get back to that as soon as it gets
warms up. Yeah.
Well, as soon as it stops snowing and getting icy.
Probably a good idea. We don't want you to fall in
no,
and undo anything that we've done.
I don't want broken bones.
I understand.
Yeah.
So basically, you're, when we started taking care of you, you have your hypothyroid, just to update anyone who maybe didn't see the last one.
Oh, I have saved a fortune on hand and body lotions.
Because you're not all dry.
Yeah, my skin isn't as dry as it used to be, and so I just don't have to use them. And before, I would just have to slather them on, and then I would still feel, my skin would feel real dry and rough. I don't have to do that anymore.
Wow. Yeah. How nice is
great.
that?
Yeah, it's great.
You just get all kinds. Well, you know what? The other thing that so many thyroid patients, their main complaint really is probably weight. And I know when we checked in with you last time, we've been taking care of you for a while. You'd lost about 35 pounds. And what are you up to?
I'm down
weight
to
loss?
40 now, but that's without even trying.
Really? Yeah.
You know, I just eat what I'm supposed to eat. I haven't been eating as much as I need to eat. That's my problem.
You know what?
Now.
Good food is just so nutrient dense that you don't seem to want to eat as much.
It is. You don't. You just don't. I mean, you eat enough, and then you think that's enough. But if you want to lose weight, you need to eat more.
Right.
And the thing wasn't really so much the weight loss as a goal, but it's come with everything else that I've been doing to get myself healthy.
Right.
The weight loss was sort of an extra added bonus, and I can do all sorts of things now that I haven't done in years. Went to the beach with my grandchildren.
Nice.
And all sorts of things.
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? You've been gluten-free and dairy. I mean, you've stuck with your diet, and I think
that's the only way you can do it. If you're going to do this, you have to do it.
How hard was it now that you've been on for a while?
I don't even think about it.
Yeah, I know. It makes it nice. So, and once you get over the initial hump, it's actually relatively easy. You just have to learn to cook a little bit differently.
Well, you do, But the cooking is actually simpler.
Yeah, it is.
Much simpler than some of the things that I had been trying to cook all my life. And I'm not even a good cook, but I can put a meal on the table now, and it's good.
And it's good for you.
Oh, yeah.
And your husband. He's getting the benefit of that as well, isn't he?
And I don't even have to think about it.
Great. Well, we're just getting ready to go into the next chapter, so to speak, with Pam.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, we're going to be doing some gut repair.
I'm excited.
And maybe run through another Clearvite protocol and just kind of clean up some loose edges and redo some of the tests that we had that were positive because you had some treatments in the interim. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it too, you went to, this was great because, you know, in the summertime, everyone has their family reunions. Well, Pam got to go to her family reunion and people were coming up to her, like hardly recognizing her, saying, "What are you doing?"
Exactly.
Which is always kind of neat too.
And my old boss actually asked me if I'd had a facelift.
Wow.
So,
awesome. Well, you look like a totally different person. I wish we would have done a video with you initially when we started seeing you like last year. And that's part of the reason that we're doing the updates now, because you can see the progression. And even when you go back and maybe look at the previous one to this, you'll say, wow, even in that time frame, there's been some positive change. So that's great.
And the really good thing is that now I can see myself and I recognize myself. I had been where if I walked past a mirrored pole or something in a store and saw a reflection in that, I wouldn't know who it was. I wouldn't even recognize my own self.
Wow.
And now I recognize myself.
Because you're feeling like your old self.
Well, and I'm looking more like my
your
own
old self. Yes.
My own self.
Your own self, exactly.
Even though my younger self, it's my own self.
Yeah.
The self that I grew up with.
Right.
And now I recognize myself, and that's even greater.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait for the next chapter. We'll check you again in about 3 months.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
All right, great. All right. Thanks, Pam.
Uh-huh.